Hey, everybody. This is the Gimbalabs Open Space Thursday meeting. We get together weekly to talk about our projects and proposals that are in our Notion board. This is how we manage the community. It's an open space. We have a little agenda setting document, and we go through and then talk about things. My name is Newman. I'm co-hosting with Harsha. Harsha, you over there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Nice. Um, we sort of look through the Notion board and our project board, which I'm going to bring up now, and we sort of set an agenda, but it's really depends on who is here. And this is the one that I want to share. And let's see this and this and this. And we have this document. And Harsha, would you mind posting this one in the chat? Um, so
Sure, yeah.
this is the running agenda for the meeting. And then here is our big project board. It's broken down into different sections like proposal, planning, community review and consent, in progress, pause, done, and backlog. These are the ones that we generally pick from. And they go over planning and community review and consent. And they generally go over into this agenda document. So is anyone, I guess here's the question, the super important question for anyone here. Is anyone here have a burning desire to talk about a specific proposal or present a proposal for community review and consent? So I guess that's the first topic. Anybody? Anybody? I know I talked to Alex, and he may have something to talk about. Sebastian's here. Sebastian has one that could be talked about.
No, I think. Hey guys.
Hey.
I think Xiaoman is asking for the marketing proposal about in what extent Gimbalabs wants to get funds or being involved in getting funds. But I'm not sure if because he expressed that he and his team they don't want to push the button or make some efforts if the community is not looking for some kind of resources, right? But that's out of my scope because I'm not completely in charge of the marketing proposal.
Right.
I'm more concerned about the Gimbalabs, the PVL proposal, the Marlow proposal. That's because that's in my area.
Right.
But that's my responsibility. So in the next days, I'll take steps to push this proposal to the community, to start recruiting or bring in some creator developers of Marlow to the proposal. Or I don't know, James. I don't know if we can start working on the first lessons because those lessons are really basic. And I don't know, but yeah.
Sebastian, let me jump in here. That is this one here, the user testing service, and or something about Marlow.
No, that's different. That's just this is a proposal in pre-production, right? It's just has not taken effect yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we are building the context, right, for the people that is interested in participate. As always, I hope some other people interested in participating in the proposal could provide some insights and some push to a proposal if they are interested in being part of this cohort of user testers. for Andami. But I guess
Yeah,
this proposal needs to the configuration of a treasury to start assigning specific resources to the activities of the testers.
right, right, right. So I'm here in section 8, the resources required, like compensation to the Gimbalabs members that are interested in building and coordinating the user testing
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's
then,
that's that's
yeah,
a really key thing in the context of this proposal.
yeah.
But for the moment, I'm not saying that is stagnant in some way the proposal, but it's in process.
Okay. And
Uh,
then, so, and people that are interested, because I think Scott is there
or
on the chat. Like,
yeah,
how can we what should we how to get in
this
touch and how to participate?
this is a co-proposal. So James has this the other side
Yeah.
of the coin in this proposal. So as I describe it in the proposal, the testers will be working on James side by side. This proposal consists first in the building of a course around how to be a user tester in the context of decentralized apps in Cardano. And after that, it comes the will come the work of testing by itself. So
Okay.
I don't know. I think.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, James?
So there's yeah, go ahead, James. Do you have something to add? We're just yeah,
I do.
we're
I
talking
think
about this
this
one.
one is, I do think this proposal is worth getting through. But I don't think it's ready yet. And I'd like to spend a little time on it. It hasn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Um,
that's good. That's good.
but yeah, I think this is something to look forward to. And keep in mind, right, our current live spaces agenda goes through the middle of May, at which point we have an opportunity to keep any number of regular weekly meetings going, but we also have a chance to think creatively about how we want to use kind of the months of May through September. And
Right.
maybe that's a chance to go deep into a project like this.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's true. That's
that's a
true.
good point.
It
Yeah.
is TiVo has a point in the chat about budget proposal endorsements. I'd love to hear about that. And Quasar is asking if we have anything related to the budgeting process for education. Is it worth it? Does that feel like something that's like urgent enough that we might want to touch on some opportunities there? Right? I think separate from the marketing proposal is the broader question, do we want to participate in this budgeting process? I'd love to hear from Tavo and Q to hear what you guys are thinking first and foremost.
Yeah, I think we could how let's set a timer for 10 minutes, kind of an impromptu because the folks are here. And that is I like that part of it. But let's set the timer for 10 and then we'll go from there. Uh Tivo and Q, do you have something for us?
Yeah, I can share. On the endorsement part, the right now in the Intersect, when you provide proposals through that, it's not that we are planning to do it through Intersect. It's just right now that's a great idea to have a list of people who endorse your project that you request funds from Cardano Treasury. And the first thing that comes into mind is, of course, the people who are involved, who want to take the role. But now I wonder, like, can we think wider? Would Gimbalabs as an entity, would Swarm as entity, would SingularityNet as entity sign or put their name behind the proposal and say, if that gets funded, I trust them. Because like one proposal from the delegate committee's name might change is already requesting over 1.5 million ADA, and that would benefit from having like partnership endorsements in and people who, okay, I think these people can manage that money. And then we also ourselves as a network, when we create these proposals, have a better like feeling of who can we turn to who in order to see which proposals are like actually aligned in our network and like we feel to do. And yeah, then I was thinking, okay, first I should go to the and do the marketing in itself, like go into other meetings, spaces. And I think there was like Gimbalabs governance spaces. I felt like, but I don't see them, so I joined here. So I'm just wondering how would that process work? Like I know it's the proposal, I could create the proposal and making like clear what's the intention, share the details of and kind of get it done with that. At the moment, the proposal itself that we're looking for endorsements is not shareable, and like, there is a lot of like edits to do. But I feel like the next week, because we are working hard and we are trying to get the first version out in order to start like this process. And that's related to marketing. Do you have any proposals and would you want to create network? So it's like both inward and onward, outward looking.
All right. All right. Thanks very much. Q, did that sound about right?
I can't really say if it sounded right or wrong. The whole budgeting process and what's going on right now is very bizarre. It's opaque. I'm finding a lot of changing information, continuously changing information. But the questions that I put in the chat was really about Gimbal Labs and other education and platforms or organizations that are focused in that area, putting in a joint proposal really to the Cardano Treasury. I feel like that there's power in doing that as opposed to, individual entities. I haven't seen anyone do it. I'm part of the thing with TiVo with the constitutional delegates and the roadmap or future work streams, which is interesting. But it seems like education, the whole education sector of Cardano could benefit, but that's a huge undertaking and an ask for anybody, I believe, for a process that I don't think is very well developed or constitutional.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole new landscape of budget and funding. I mean, as Catalyst, yeah, you're right. It does seem a bit up in the air, right? Okay.
Yeah, and Catalyst, what if Catalyst isn't approved and for quite some time, then this treasury, Cardano budget treasury is the immediate, relief or opportunity. There's a lot of things that are unknown.
Yeah. Okay. And all right. James, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple different updates and just thoughts to share. First of all, I think the way we are doing things at Gimbalabs sets a good example. And if we also now start to use the tools of Andamio and demonstrate how we actually show accountability for these funds, we're setting an example that can be driven forward, right? So whatever pain people might experience with this early iteration of the budgeting process, we can be building both tooling and systems for using that tooling in the background. So personally, I feel no urgency for Gimbalabs to have a specific proposal to itself this time around. But if anybody wanted to take the lead on that, that's certainly an opportunity. Where I am dedicating some time right now, there is, like Quasar was suggesting, one of these collective projects. It's called ada.eco. I think the Game Changer team has been part of some of those conversations. And the concept here is to build a social network for community organizers of the sort that everybody in Cardano has been training to be, right? So much of the value of Cardano that we've witnessed in the last few years has not accrued on chain, right? But is in the form of relationships like the ones that many of us have here. And in fact, research shows this is this kind of community organizing work that we've gotten good at is something that will be of benefit much more broadly to the world. And so the goal here is to take from the work that One Up, One Down has been doing, matching people with mentors and fellow collaborators, take the work that Andamio has been doing from building tools and that Gimbalabs has been doing from the facilitation perspective. And led by, so Joe Allen and Nadia Hopkins are leading this project as a product lead and a project manager, respectively. And what we have the opportunity to do is build upon the One Up, One Down and Andamio SDKs, the social network that will be accessible at the address ada.eco. So pretty exciting proposal there. Gimbalab's role in it would be to be an implementation partner. So everybody who's been training as a developer in Aiken or Plutus PBL or practicing on the projects like the maintainers and like the Asteria project, the goal here is for the development funds to go towards, I like Nori's term, like a Hollywood studio style team, right? When people get together to make a movie, you bring together an all-star team for a predefined amount of time to get the work done. And that's what Gimbalabs would be committed to providing is the front-end implementation of Joe's designs on top of these development kits that I've suggested. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if that proposal will go through, but it is that kind of collective one, and it's kind of trying to build on the expertise that we've been gaining together. I dropped a planning stage proposal into the Notion. I just haven't had time to do that yet. I'll flesh that out over the next few weeks, but also it's not something we're going to officially start until we know the results of the budgeting process. So yeah, any questions or things to build upon there?
I have one for you, James. If I may, real quick, the Constitution, whether or not it's going to be a factor or not, it says that the development of and the administration of the budget shall use blockchain and smart contracts wherever necessary. Now, the development of, I don't see anybody looking at that as being where they're, but that's what the Constitution says. So if it came down to the, literal interpretation of it, I feel like Gimbalabs and everything that you guys are doing actually could show a development of a process on chain. So that's a big bonus for you or something to consider.
Here, here. Yeah, and if we have time today, that's the agenda item I'd like to put forth is actually distributing some of the funds we've got, because the sooner we start to do that, the more we are proving that these on-chain tools work for the kinds of problems we're trying to solve. And we are now 100% ready for that from the Gimbalabs side.
Scott?
No, go ahead. I was going to mention that, the DREP Collect is working on a DREP mapping solution for the Cardano ecosystem, which in turn could not, may not be used for the ada.eco. I've talked to Nadia about that also, as far as, and that's being worked on by Dagwell and Alpine, and then a couple other people. So I just want to throw that in there since James brought up the ada.eco.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. So in our we do have a couple of agenda items from this past week, and let me share my screen. Oh, here we go. And I'm curious if Alex, well, Scott and I, so this one here, Scott and I are still, so we have some like small updates, and I can get this one out of the way really quick. So this is about the DREP for Gimbalabs. We're still trying to figure out like the minimum process to sort of fit with the priority. we're thinking about some way to surface the governance actions and bring them to be awareness of the community. And we're still in the kitchen with this. I guess that's our update. If you are interested in a volunteer opportunity or some type of recognition as it's Scott. The term ombudsman, like a Gimbalabs ombudsman, it sort of fit. Does that resonate with folks? Do people understand an ombudsman? Scott?
So what Newman and I talked about today was, like, at minimum, we would like to create a channel called governance proposals. And, like, I don't know if this is updated in the proposal or not, but this is like the minimum product that we can come up with. It doesn't really assign a champion or anything. It's just a volunteer that just goes to gov.tools and checks to see if there's any proposals. If there are new proposals, post a proposal name and link in a channel in the Gimbalabs Discord, and then I don't know, if so needed, I guess a poll can be done as to whether or not that proposal is relevant to Gimbalabs and the continuity of this community or potential future funding. And I think that's probably the absolute minimum that we could do as a community for the DREP role within Gimbalabs itself.
Yeah, and how does that? I think that sums it up. It's just we're trying to figure out, if we're going to be a DREP, what is other than the way we have now, which is sort of, we have a thing we have a governance part, which I'm showing on the screen now, of the Discord, and what is the next step? Not a giant process or anything, but and if you want to be involved with that step, that's what we're asking for, is someone that may want to to look over just a few minutes, a week, to look at the governance action on GovTools and bring it back to the community in a very minimal way. So that, I think, does anybody have a comment on that? You could look for us later. We might start pinging people. Yeah.
Hey, I have a comment on that for you.
Sure.
So the way these proposals are going into the budget process now, it looks like there's a whole lot more work going to be put on DREPs. So consider a really increased workload over, maybe in a seasonal perspective, but over the next 2 months, it could be very, very, very busy. Could be a lot of stuff coming through.
How do you mean? Like what might be like something that, because so Gimbalabs is registered as a DREP. And as I understand it, it's not like we're required or compelled to act on, to vote those delegated votes. I suppose if, I'm delegated to the DREP, the Gimbalabs DREP, and if there's something that I'm interested as an individual, then I could, liquid democracy style, just change my delegation to a different DREP. And perhaps that's more like to the intent of liquid democracy. But what are you saying that the DREPs are having to do a bigger workload? Like, meaning that there would just be more proposals.
Correct. So let's just say that we end up with 30 to 50 budget request proposals over the next month or 2 months. There's just going to be a lot of things for Gimbalabs as the DREP or the Gimbalabs DREP to review. So there might make sense for there to be multiple volunteers for this.
Right.
That's really what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Like, are there any new is the governance actions, are there new ones lately, or has this not happened yet? No, it still seems like it's the old ones. Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a self-imposed deadline of the 11th. So like you could see a whole lot add up on the 11th or the next 2 weeks. It could be a bunch.
Interesting. Okay. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Buckle up. We've got things. But as James says, we are trying to do this community facilitation. And with that said, there is, and I was very happy about Alex. And Alex, I'm sort of giving you a little bit of time to take a sip of water and get ready, because Alex made a proposal, he drafted a proposal, and then let us know in the Discord. Basically, in my mind, he went through the steps of saying, hey, I want to talk about this, and he drafted a proposal. And I would love to get his, to bring him up to the stage, and I'll share this proposal that he has drafted for us, and ask him to talk us through it in a few minutes. Alex.
Thank you. Maybe it's a better idea to focus on DREP discussion, because just yesterday I was commenting on Twitter that this is the immediate action that is required, because you have to decide, maybe
Sure.
But the proposal is not on a short time scope. If there is a repository for an open source SDK, so suddenly this idea came to me. It wouldn't be nice if we had that. And so I also kind of thought about it and outlined some architecture for the SDK. And the thing is made for making tokens for a very simple cause. And you can read about the cause in the SDK README. So in a proposal, there's a link to repository, and in README, it says everything I would say, but in better language, because I wrote it with AI.
That's all right. That's all right. But so this is the proposal in the planning stage, and you're asking people to read the proposal and take a peek at it. It's dealing
it's an open
with
source SDK, open an issue, contribute pull request, whatever you want to do. If you'd like to have it as it's in the end, I think it will. I hope it will be a software as a service in a company where you can implement this idea multiple times across different locations, solving particular challenges for each location, and so solving a pretty interesting issue on a systemic level through organizing a grassroots economy. People pay people with crypto for doing small stuff, on a small scale.
It made me think of something that Lawrence Lay, a Gimbalabs contributor, has worked on, is the open litter map with Sean.
Exactly. That's where the inspiration come from. The difference is between this application and open litter map is that LitterCoin, what they do, they gather data for which kind of garbage and where and how dense it is on the map, and they supply this data and they prove some interesting engineering points and things like this. But what I want to do is that I want to collect pictures of the garbage. I want to develop a protocol for, we can have, we can say with a good degree of confidence that volunteers who collect the garbage for the, coins, they really do with it what the governance moves towards, and so governance is one of the issues in this case, and I think this idea makes centralized governance should be okay for a prototype. But the biggest issue and the biggest blocker is how do we verify activity, human activity, and how do we make sure? And there are some ideas, but so prototyping and research, and I'm thinking about this as a grant proposal, to push through Catalyst, Intersect, wherever it is, incubators. But if anyone, the point is if you see value in this work and would like to join, please do so. That's all what I want to say. But that discussion is much more interesting.
Oh yeah, and and thank you for just giving us that brief intro. Does anybody have a comment or question right off the bat before we jump into the next one? Because if you are interested in this type of work, open source, environmental stewardship, tokenomics, you know, those type of things. Please be in touch. This is an avenue for contribution, and we can we'll as it goes along. If you've got, you can also comment right on the Notion board or in the Discord. But thanks for bringing that to our attention. Okay. So let's go back to our board. We talked about education, the budget proposals, and the sort of the Ada Echo and partnerships. We talked to Alex, gave us a brief, just now gave us a brief discussion about the environmental stewardship and reward volunteer rewards platform. Ratio and I gave a little update on the DREP. This is the middle way point. This is sort of the station identification. In case you didn't know, this is a open source, Open Spaces Gimbalabs Thursday meeting, and we're about halfway through. This one from Harsha. Harsha, I'm giving you a little moment to get ready.
Sure.
Have a drink of water.
I'm ready.
Would you be willing to share your screen and take us through a?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
1 second. Let me start sharing.
Because this is an interesting proposal, insofar as that it's got through the miracle of vibe coding, it has a working demo, and Harsha gave me a little demo of it yesterday or the day before, and I'm kind of excited about this. I feel like it could be, it could be something that that communities like ours use to kind of navigate the landscape of things that are the way things are working nowadays.
I'm just trying to find the proposal. Where is it?
Oh, I may have shifted it around. I think it's still in planning, and
Okay.
you can look for your name. Look where it's right at the top. There it is. It's right at the top. There we go.
Here it is. So this is mostly like a semi-marketing proposal. And the point is that I think we have such an amazing consent process where we are getting proposals in and out with a pretty good frequency. But I feel like we are not communicating our governance to the wider Cardano community at all. And I just wanted to create like a local app that quickly parses our open space transcript and creates tweets. And this app is basically for Sebastian, I would assume, because he's the one who is posting on Twitter for Gimbalabs, or whoever is posting on Twitter for Gimbalabs. Yeah, so the idea is like an AI-driven tool to parse the open space transcripts and suggest tweets for the marketing team to edit and post on X directly from the tool. And the background and rationale is that Gimbalabs produces a lot of insights, but the insights are not available directly to us as individuals or to the wider Cardano community. And the long form content that we post, even for me to go through the whole thing is really hard. So I think it'd be easier if we condense it a bit and then post it. And the intended outcome for this proposal, and by the way, this proposal is just a vibe check just to understand how everyone's feeling. So we don't have to get to consent on this today. So what we need to do, I think, the intended outcome is that we have an increased Gimbalabs tweet volume, ease the posting work for people like Sebastian or James or whoever is posting from Gimbalabs side. And also the Cardano community has a better understanding of how Gimbalabs makes decisions. And for that, there's a little app here. The GitHub repository is open source and the link is right here. Okay. So the whole repo is here. And this is completely local, and it is like a mega MVP. It is so MVP that like the that data is just literally uh, JSON files. Like we don't have a database. This is our database. So let me try and quickly do a demo of this.
And while you're setting that up, so I definitely want to have a reaction round. So if you've got comments or questions, please write them down, and or keep a mental note, or paste them into the chat. And after the demo, then we will we'll go through and do a nice little round, clarification round on this proposal.
Yeah. So to log in, you need like so it is using two APIs. One is like Anthropic's API 3.5 Haiku, I think, and the other one is X API. And to get into this, to be able to directly post from this app to X, you'll have to put in these things, or you can directly enter here without using X credentials. But you'll be able to generate the tweets, but you won't be able to post it directly on X. I'm going to stop sharing just here for just a second so that I can put in all of these guys in.
Sure enough.
And be back.
And I guess while he is doing that, does anyone right off the bat have a comment? Not necessarily a question, or let Harsha do some work, but any initial reactions? Or do you understand what might happen?
Yeah, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Sebastian. Yeah, this is definitely aimed towards you. So this is something that
Yeah, in my opinion, it's very necessary because marketing, it's a full-time job. I posted that in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat.
It's a full-time job. Those time taking a video and start to disaggregate it in timestamps and messages and that stuff is
it's tough.
It's a pain. So if you have the time, you must be rewarded like I have in the past. And in my old days, my old days was 5 years ago or 2 years ago. Today we have this tooling that can make our lives better. So and I think this kind of that's the budget, the Gimbalabs treasury should be used in these kind of things, and how individuals can come here and start to work in specific roles and receive some kind of reward and support for the tooling they need. So completely agree.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you, Sebastian. And Q, you've got your hand up. So let's hear if you got a quick question or comment.
Yeah, a quick or comment really is, I think it's great to do this. However, just posting alone is not going to really take advantage of the work that you're doing here. Having a space, a quick one, 30 minutes or some more regular presence to actually draw people to the post is going to be a huge advantage if you can find a way to do that.
So would hosting alone not as effective as perhaps like a short space or something in those other networks like X or like anywhere, a YouTube Live or something? Yeah,
something like a post and then a space. Yeah, something to draw, because just Twitter's a freeway, a highway of just information going. So anything to get people to stop and pull over and smell your flowers.
I love the freeway analogy. Me and Metaphor go way back. Okay, Twitter is a freeway. Oh my God, I'm from a freeway town in North Carolina, so I know all about it. Okay, I think we're ready for Harsha. Harsha, are you ready to take the helm? Thank you much.
Yeah, I'm ready. Am I sharing my screen? Is everyone able to see?
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
what I just did is I copied the transcript directly from YouTube. But YouTube transcripts are not the best. So And so I'm basically I'm copying the transcript and I'm trying to create, this is the flow to create the tweets from the transcript. I'm just going to paste the transcript here and I'm going to put it, when is this? Feb 20th. So I'm going to put it open spaces Feb 20th, 2025. So that would be 02 2025, and I just generate the tweets. It's going to take a little bit of time because it's like a pretty large text file. But by the end of the day, it'll look kind of like these. These would be the tweets generated. And from here, you can directly edit the tweet because there will be some typos and all. Like it has never gotten the name Gimbalabs, right? It always thinks it's Gimbal Labs. But whoever is posting can directly edit the tweet. You can either delete the tweet if it's low quality. But if you don't want to directly post it from here, you can just copy it and then post it. Post it to X. Let's see if it's done. Okay, so here are the tweets. Let's try it out once. I'll also open X and keep it. So we'll go here.
So this is your, okay, yeah.
This is
you
my
see the,
personal, and I logged
yeah.
in with mine. So,
Okay.
you know, so, and it is also divided into like different topics like governance, development, community education, technology. So we can pick some tweet and say, Sebastian is posting, he would just edit it. See, Andamia goes live on mainnet. Next week, we'll review progress, DAO governance, this thing. I'd also put like maybe a Gimbalabs here. And
Right.
I'll say this is a test. Where's this? This is a test. I'm going to save this. And once it's edited, like the tag shows, and then I can directly send to X and it is posted. Let's see if it's posted or not. Where is this?
Maybe refresh.
Yeah.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, here it goes.
Wow.
So that is the basic idea behind this tool, just to make life easier for like the marketing team. But right now, I think this is limited because my X is not paid. So I only have 238 or 285 characters or something like that. But since Gimbalabs account is paid, I can add images to this. I mean, I'll have to like push the features, but I can add images to this. I can increase the length of these guys, like the tweets and all of that, and then do a couple of things. And the credentials, let me move this. The credentials are right here. Oh shit, I shouldn't show those. But yeah, the credentials are right here. Even if you log in without the credentials, you can always like go back here and put in your credentials. And depending on how useful this is, so the idea behind the whole proposal is we have been talking about incubators, right? Like we want incubators. And what are incubators? Incubators basically take an idea, test it out and see if it makes sense and all of that, and basically support the idea. So I feel like at Gimbalabs, we have a lot of internal problems that we can solve. And the audiences are the Gimbalabs community itself. So if you're trying to solve a problem, that means you're trying to solve a problem for somebody inside Gimbalabs. So the whole life cycle, I think we can test out internally itself. So right now, Sebastian, say, is the person that will be using this tool. So he can give me input on how useful this tool is, what new features can be added, and I can add those and all of that. So it'll be like, even if it's not like a mainstream incubator, it'll at least be like the essence of an incubator internally, at least. And so the idea is basically for 3 months. This proposal will be live for 3 months. In this 3 months, what I would love for like the marketing team to do is like test it out, see what new features you would need. So for the 3 months, I'd be open to add any new features, like make any improvements, like change the database from like JSON to like an actual MySQL or something. And the app is designed to be local, as in it is designed to be in npm dev run dev mode and not npm start ever. So and yeah, so these are all the things. And after the end of the proposal, if the marketing team likes, they can make a donation of 1,000 ADA to whoever built it. I mean, in this case, me, but in general. And this is strictly to be decided by the team. By the end of the day, when you are building a product, it is your audiences that needs to approve the product. They need to say, okay, this product is worth like spending that amount of money on. So I think it'll be like a good practice for that as well. And the responsibility for me is that I'll be maintaining it, adding features, deleting features, any requests, bugs, all of that. And the marketing team's responsibility would be to test it out, deploy it locally, and test it out, and give me like input. The potential risk is that it is too hard to deploy and use, and the marketing team can use it or drop it at any time without any significant budget issues. And if there are too many bugs, I'll be fixing them. But if I can't fix them, still like the marketing team can drop it. What and yeah, so one other thing that we'd need a little bit of budget is like we'd be needing $15 for to fill the Anthropic API subscription. And I think $15 would be more than enough for 3 months. I would think it'll even go for 4 months, 5 months, whatever. So that's where we are at with this.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so while folks are, because I do want to do a clarification round, comments, questions, concerns. We definitely aren't in the zone of, because you're not asking for consent today. So let's not hear any, like, if you have hard objections or things like that, we can hold those off. But more clarifying question round in a little bit. And Harsha, do you have any final things that you want us to sort of focus on, or?
I mean, whatever questions you have, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, perfect. So let's start with Scott, and then we'll go to Q.
Yeah, Harsha, I like that. I put my questions in the chat. So like there are local model AI models that you can use. I know it's only $15, but that's not the point. It's just
no,
still
it's just Anthropic API.
Yeah, right. But like I don't know exactly how you tie it into all that as far as how it summarizes stuff, but there are local instances that you can run for free.
Actually, there is one other thing I need to like explain, because you can still let me share again. So one other thing is you can change the base tweet, like the tweet wrapper that I have. One second. Where is this? So basically the tweets are wrapped, right? Transcript services, yeah. This. So one second. So there is like a tweet wrapper that can also be changed by the highlight. Yeah, so these are the one. This is the tweet wrapper basically. So this is wrapping the tweet, and then this is what generates like the tweet. So this can also be changed by the marketing team. I put in like a generic one saying, hey, it needs to be 280 characters written like this, but this can be changed, and the quality of the tweets will also change depending on how we wrap the tweet. So that's one other thing, one other change we can make. But I don't know if that makes sense, or if I randomly presented this, but yeah.
No worries. One little point about our rounds. No need to answer the questions in the moment. They're more to sort of get them out. Otherwise, it takes a long time. Even though we do have a good amount of time, there's about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes left in the meeting. I do want to give a little bit of time to check out, but we have plenty of time. But let's save like your responses to the end, and that way we can get like a full picture as we go through. Q and then Monique for clarifying questions or comments? Q.
I don't have any. No, I don't think my hand's raised or it's not here. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep. And you can always just say pass if you don't have a question or comment. Monique and then Mix.
I think this looks really, really cool. I guess my question is that there still needs to like there's still going to be somebody who's like manning this, right? So like the tweets are pretty much take care of themselves and they're going to be edited. Um, well, I guess so. One, who does that now? Or kind of like who's going to be like running this, and then like on general, like how much time does this? And clearly it saves a lot of time, but like how much time do we estimate that it saves? Just kind of curious to know.
Okay, that's a good, yeah. How much time does it save? And then how much time would we expect someone to use, to manage the tool? Okay, those are good questions, comments. And hopefully we'll have time for Harsha to answer at the end. Mix and then Martin. Oh, Mix, you're really soft.
Hear me? 1, 2, 3.
I'm just hearing really soft in the background.
Sorry. Anyway, let me shout. It's looking good. No comment.
He says it's looking good, no comment. That's brilliant. Thanks, Mix. Martin
That's
and
the
then
only way.
James.
That's the only way he doesn't have comments.
No comments.
Okay, Martin's got no comment. James, what do you think? And then Andrew.
I think Mix always proves that he's a hacker on every level, whatever. No, I think this is beautiful. And Harsha, I can't help thinking that what you've built is a governance tool. We're living in an age where there's just too many community meetings for people to attend all of them. And so if you can take a transcript and turn it into a set of tweets, you could also take it and just publish a digest to any other platform, whether it's an email list or another social platform, et cetera, et cetera. So I think you've built, what we could absolutely call a governance tool and might be really interesting to try here, but then offer it.
Yeah. Excellent. Andrew and then Adrian.
Yeah, it looks really good, Harsha. Really good, mate. I think it's a really good proposal. Great idea. You probably get that hosted somewhere free as well, possibly. I don't think it'd be a huge app. It's just going to be
So
a big
the
hit.
reason I didn't want to host it is because I'm not sure about the security. So local, I feel safe, but hosting it in some centralized server freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, well, you can always get a bit of support with something like that, and you can always put it behind a bit of authentication. But no, great idea.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, auth as an interesting addition. Adrian and then Sebastian.
I thought the exact same as James. I think the tool could be really good used for summarizing our meetings. For example, having a Discord bot or something that then shows a summary of everything would be easier than looking through the whole session. But in general, very, very nice. Thank you, Hara.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian. Sebastian, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah, I have to say this tool is basically the 50% of the marketing team, almost the 60% of the whole marketing team. So it's pretty nice. And in fact, this is just an example of the organic incubation we see in Gimbalabs, right? It's not this apparatus where you deploy all this kind of incubational thing, and at the end you result with a product. Here we have an example of a Gimbalabs member involved in the day-to-day Gimbalabs day-to-day, and producing something related to one of our needs at community level. I think not only is necessary, but it's necessary not only for the need we have to put in order some resources, but also it's important to support this because it's part of the incubation spirit we want to promote this. I think this tool can be not only used by Gimbalabs, but maybe we can start to open a section in the Gimbalabs page related to the products that the members are producing, and maybe we can start to build some kind of market or something like that, small market to the initiatives and tooling built by the Gimbalabs members like this, right? Yeah, we can start to think of that. That's in when I proposed my idea of incubation is that is this supporting this organic emergence of initiatives and tooling that can provide benefits to at community level. So congratulations and let's do it. Thanks.
That's wonderful. Cesar, and then are you around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, would you do you have a comment for Harsha or a question?
No, I don't have anything.
All right. Thank you much. Here's let me go and then Q, go ahead.
Thank you, Newman. One area to consider is the AI offering a proper representation of the meetings, and if any individuals are included, to make sure that they're represented or what is being said is accurate. We're still dealing with emergent technology with AI, so something to keep an eye on and proofread.
Oh, that's a good one. I actually had that thought. I was like, ooh, like privacy of the people. Yeah, for sure. Accuracy of how people are represented. Yeah. For my part, there's a lot of things that I love. I really like the way that Sebastian articulated it. That this is an example in my mind of really the fruition of our driver, meaning that we're solving meaningful problems. And what is a meaningful problem to the community is just where those needs are. So we've got this kind of needs-based problem solving and initiative, and then also the proposal format, knowing Harsha knows that he can make a proposal and then do it. He actually used a different model, the little fish model, which was he built the thing and then he asked for some support and funding. He kind of built a minimal product that addresses the problem so that we can all see it. I think that in my mind is the real one of the real values of it. I also see that problem as somebody that's tried to do marketing for the Odin community, and like summarizing and digesting. I love this idea of the freeway, that it's just like there's this huge information stream and that we need, like, the tools are making the information, so we need to use the tools in order to sort of digest the information as it comes through. I think Monique's question about the person, like how to manage the tool, and she didn't express this, but is it something that will create more work or will it save work? So I'm just I'm very impressed with Harsha.
At this point,
So
we don't know the answer if it'll create more work or less work, and that's the point of
Yeah.
trying it out for the 3 months to see how the marketing team feels. And depending on
Yeah.
how they feel, we can. I mean, it's open source anyway, so it'll be there. But we can either choose to use it or not use it or make improvements. It's up to us. Yeah.
And Harsha, now that let's just have a discussion. Based on any of those questions that you heard, do you have like responses or did anything stick out to you that you want to comment on?
I can't remember, like.
Right. So what about what Scott was talking about with the local model. Also, Andrew was talking about like hosting, and you were talking about the security issues and stuff.
So I'm just like thinking about what advantage would it bring if it is if it is hosted, like why, like so actually like this came from like an idea that Newman shared. He shared like a blog post that said local first, that's the future or something like that, where all apps will be like locally run instead of like putting all your data into someone's servers and they'll steal your data, use your data. Why all of that? Like why can't like all apps just be local and npm run dev'd?
Yeah. Yeah, the local first is, I think, kind of how we used to say mobile first. I like the idea of saying, like build for local, and with the APIs and sort of, have it, because you're just spinning it up to generate your tweets. Yeah, I there's definitely something in that sort of zone. Well, let's see. What other questions? Do you really think about it as a governance tool? Like, because in one way it's a marketing tool, but then if you think about marketing inwardly, it might be a governance tool. What do you think about that?
I actually wasn't thinking of it as like anything. It's just like a tool built to solve a problem that I have inside of Gimbalabs, which is that people need to know how we govern things and how we do stuff. So
the initial problem from your perspective, and I see Q's hands up, but the initial problem is like that we do all of this work, but it may not have awareness. So that's sort of the marketing around there. Like, because I think we do have something that, we could open up the window and shout about. But then it takes, speaking of Monica's point, Monique's point, about like it does, and Sebastian, that it takes a lot of time to digest and to put it in the right voice and to put it in the right format and push it out there. I can. It's interesting that's what you saw. I love that. That's the way you framed up the problem and then created the tool. Hey, Qbert, what's up?
Qbert, man. So like, you have to market the marketing tool, which is one thing, and marketing it as a governance communication platform or an aggregator of communication across governance spaces is huge. I mean, I see it totally as a governance tool, and I pretty much can find a way that almost everything will tie back to governance one way or another. So, I mean, I would definitely market it as both, but you're marketing the marketing tool or marketing the governance tool as a marketing tool. Yeah.
I'll jump in here because governance as a word can be kind of scary, but it really, in my mind, is synchronization or coordination or collaboration. Like it's getting this pipeline of work coordinated, and using this is a fantastic tool because it uses all of the landscape, and you can see the system of it. It's a connector between these systems, whereas it used to be one guy, Sebastian, that was did a wonderful job, but it's just like I think Sebastian could be used in a much better way than that. Not that we're using Sebastian, but I think he would. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. I don't mean to say anything about it, but Sebastian's awesome,
Yeah.
and
In fact,
I got you.
No, and in fact, the current endeavors around building a marketing proposal should consider this new landscape, right? The tooling and all that stuff, because things are changed. So all this context should be included, should be contemplated in this marketing proposal that Xiaoman and all these guys are building.
Yeah. And Harsha, what do you think about what Sebastian was talking about? Like this is like sort of the organic incubation process of Gimbalabs.
I 100% agree with that. Like I feel like what else is incubation, right? Like you get an idea, you test it out with the users, you get feedback, you make improvements. That's literally the life cycle of like
Yeah, because
even a mainstream product.
yeah, and because in the proposal you are asking for 1,000 acres, right? I think that's
Yeah.
the basic. I think for on behalf of these kind of endeavors, we can do more. I don't know why. I can start to think in additional efforts around what the Gimbalabs members are building on, right? I know a financial support, but also maybe can start building some infrastructure to promote this kind of tooling around the community, something like that. I think the marketing thing must be concentrated, focus on that, right? Now, how we bring new members, right? It's important, but not as important as promoting what's happening, what are doing the current members. Thanks.
I want to jump in on this because I feel like that is Gimbalabs. Like in my mind, when I close my eyes and I think about Gimbalabs and what it is now and what it is when I first joined, I wanted to be participate in a team that built stuff. And now I learned about Gimbalabs through Catalyst and through interactions with people, but I'm thinking about somebody that doesn't know Gimbalabs. They're out there on the freeway of X, and like when they come to the web page or when they read a tweet or look at the heading or like I love this idea of there's a section that just says here are the tools that Gimbalabs has built, like or here are the members and their side projects, and then here are the members and their side projects that were funded and supported in a real way with like a real partnership and real funds. I think that is I think that's an important part, and it would bring the right people to the table here. Like it would kind of generate the right energy, and it's just like, yes, I have a personal project. I need help. I need to get it into the format. Like that's a help. That's a support. That's a scaffolding that Gimbalabs can offer. Structure, and we build this system that makes contributors and builders. So yeah, there's a lot of things I really like about this. So, and I'm glad we're highlighting it and expressing it. I would love for everybody. I know that everybody here has a personal project that they can build. I know that somebody who is not here and listening from the future has a project, and that it will help me and help them. I just think that it could be a real important community work to get involved. And I hope that somebody hears this and says, oh, that's the kind of community that I want to be a part of, and that they join our Discord, click the like and subscribe button on YouTube or whatever. That would be really wonderful. That perhaps what I'm saying right now, gets into a tweet in the future made by this tool. See, it all fits together. And I learned everything by watching Q.
Thanks, man.
That's right. Oh, man. Okay. So we have a few more minutes left. We can have a nice long checkout. I don't know if let's take a little recap of our system here. We have talked about quite a bit, and we had a nice round. Oh, there's my notes, and here we go. We talked about the education budget proposals. We may want to circle back to this. Alex gave us a nice community open source project for environmental cleanups and tokenomics. Scott and I talked about the DREP process for Gimbalabs community and how that might evolve, and that we're looking for help. Harsha just finished giving us this really nice demo of the creating tweets from Open Spaces transcripts. We have not heard from Simon about the Gimbalabs marketing plan, but this marketing tool, this tool that Harsha built, kind of got us into that zone. And Sebastian gave us a little bit of insight into the user testing service. And so these are all proposals on our Discord, or not our Discord, but on our Notion. And the Notion looks like this. So you can always go here and see what is happening. So Simon's not here to discuss this one. Has anybody here looked through this, or has anybody got this one on their radar? Okay. And then this one that we've been neglecting, Harsha, you have a good excuse because you built out an entire app. But this one, I do feel like we could redesign
So
the
I have a
Discord.
small feedback on the redesign. Instead of a whole redesign, the whole redesign feels like a huge work thing again. Can we make small changes instead of going all in at once, little changes one at a time?
Yeah, of course. Which where did it go? No, okay. This one. Now this one. So this one at section 8. Oh, details. Here we go. So here the suggested, the big one is going from circles to proposals. And it would basically be to close down these contribution circles and move it all into proposals. Even though we have started to use the circles, but I guess it would be that each proposal would need to get into a circle, and then that we would do them that way. In my mind, it would be it was just to keep this proposals, and then just every proposal gets a post. So you would do a new post.
So the problem with this, at least in my opinion, is that since Asteria friend end, we all have been talking in that channel, it pops out. But the rest of them, if someone posts a proposal, it just vanishes into the ether here.
That's true.
I don't know how to make it pop a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the way we could make circles work is if that each proposal would need a circle. We would basically, do we have? Yeah. So here you go. So this is how we sort of fix that. It's just everyone, and then make a post.
That's a really good description of what to aspire to, right? So we want to get to the point where whenever a proposal is funded and a team of people are coming together, those people operate as an independent subcircle. And those can be nested as many times as we want to. But yeah, that's a good aspiration.
But is it aspirational? Because we could do it now.
We're demonstrating it. It's already been demonstrated on Asteria and maintainers, right? Those are two teams that are assigning work to each other, just getting it done autonomously.
Right.
They can report back to generally all of us here, right? But there's no governance happening to those projects from the outside of the circle of people working on them. And that's really exciting. And the last
I guess that is true.
Right? The last step we want, and it's similar for both, is now the people involved in each of those projects have to decide how to split up the funds that each project has. Yeah. But even that part should be a decision of that smallest level circle.
Yeah, so we are doing circles. Yeah. So circles shouldn't go away. Is that I think that's a good message. Yeah.
In fact, yeah, maybe that's a good way. Like if we close out open spaces for the school year in May, at least the northern hemisphere school year, one thing we could do is draw a current picture of the nested circles that comprise Gimbalabs right now.
Yes.
And then
Oh my goodness.
use that image so that whenever we do pick it up, those circles can continue to operate without governance meetings, maybe for the summer. And then when we pick it up, we can look at that org structure and iterate on it.
I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'll just confess it right now. I love org charts and graphs and like snapshots of stuff. Like I'm a visual sort of guy. And when I was a kid, I remember I was like, oh, I love the org chart. And then when I got to like be an adult and they're like, oh, this org chart is horrible. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is. It is horrible. It looks pretty, but it's horrible. It's horrible. But there's all kinds of new org charts, there's new different ways. Scott, I see you got your hand up. It may be getting tired. What's going on, man?
Suggestion for the Notion maybe is that when you have people that post up their proposals, that they also put their Discord username. That way we actually have because there's 3 Alexes in Gimbalabs, and I don't know which Alex is the Alex for so yeah, anyway, just that.
That's a great thank you for bringing that up. That definitely is. And Alex is kind of a funny one. It is sort of like call sign culture, like but yeah, he has different names. So that is something to that's a good one to bring up. The 3 Alexes. Okay, so we've got 5 till the top of the hour. Let's have a little checkout, and we'll shut off the recording now. I will terminate by saying, hey, thank you all for being here. And if you aren't here and you're listening, please come to gimbalabs.com and look at the calendar. You can subscribe on your calendar app, and you can get a notification of when they're starting up, and that's where all the links are. Thank you very much. We will see you next week, and hopefully on the Discord and in Notion. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay, we're